Good day and welcome to another edition of Outside at Genie, where we will be looking at the race meeting from Fairvw on the turf track today, the 12th of February. Sorry, I'm a bit ahead of myself, February. Before we look at the fields and the betting, there's just one or two things I want to touch on. First of all, I want to remind you that on tomorrow, only subscribers will be getting the preview for Turfontein. I've got a policy now that on major race days, only my subscribers get a video preview and the selections for that race meeting. The race meeting for Kenilworth will still be, the video will still be for free, and obviously the selections will go to the people who subscribe. So you can subscribe now for this from today or from tomorrow for the rest of the month. You can subscribe for 300 Rand. Or I have a special going for February, March, April for 900 Rand, which equates to about 300 Rand a month, whereby my normal price is 500 Rand. So surely you're going to save there. So make sure, and I've worked out a nice little pick six, and I'm very confident that this pick six will go close. I also just want to mention that yesterday at Turfontein, I gave you 20 to 1 shot, and only one or two people noticed that. In the last race, I give you twice the act, and I told you that the basis for my analysis is formed on handicapping. That is what I use. Now, twice act in that race was the best handicap, and then it had the additional benefit of an apprentice jockey claiming -2.5. So the horse was carrying like 50 kilograms, something like that. So that was definitely a horse, worth taking a bet on. It was 20 to 1. I see it shortened into 16 to 1, 14 to 1. So a few people must have had a few Rand on it. Ultimately, it pays 16 Rand for a win and 5 Rand for a place. So that was that. So let's move on to the race meeting for today at the Fairvw. We will kick off with the first race. The first race is a maiden juvenile plate. As you know, I do have a policy that I don't give selections on juvenile races as there's no forms to assess. Here we have a first time at a 13 to 20. Seeing that makes me already afraid. Then 15 to 10, James Gordon Jr., 7 to 1, Redoubt Secret, 8 Great Marmalade, 12 to 1. Oh, that stuff I can't eat. I can't eat marmalade. 18 to 1, Grace Lightning, and scratch number 5, Southwest. Guys, if you play that, you take the 13 to 20. I want to tell you, good luck. Won't be me. Then in the second race, let's have a look at the betting. 15 to number 15, Paris Opera, 9 to 10. 11 to 2, Lady in Waiting. 13 to 2, Pure Quality. Kylop's Jack, 12 to 1. Scottish Promise, 12 to 1. Shuka, 14 to 1. Urban Aces, 18 to 1. And 20 to 1, and better the rest. Guys, yes, yeah, and this is an extremely weak field. A maiden plate over 1,000 meters. You will remember that I've always preached that I'm always scared of horses that run well in their first race, and then in their second race they sort of flop. But if you take into account this race, this maiden plate, and I'm sorry, I'm not knocking down any trainer or owner, but the horses in this race is extremely weak, I would think. And Paris Opera had a very good debut. And if she can repeat that debut, I think she will go close today in this race. But certainly not a horse that I would like to go and place my house on. So, yeah, do play with care. As I said, it has happened in the past often that horses ran a very good first race and then they flop in their second race. Trust me, I'm an old hand with that. So my outsider selection in this race is number 5, Cyclops Jack. I did say last time out, I did expect this horse to improve. And this horse ran in the same race as Paris Open, running a third place at 14 to 1. So, but was a little bit behind Paris Opera, but still managed to run third. And then my other outsider selection is number 10, which is Scottish Promise. Now, this is a Flower Alley by Tiger Reach, and it would seem that this horse would need, a little bit of longer distance. But last about 58 days ago, ran 5 lengths behind Lord Graven, but that was in a handicap, and it's one of those classified handicaps. It was getting minus two, so only carrying 50, and didn't run too bad to race number 5. But before that, run on different distances, indicating to me that the trainer wasn't sure what distance he wants this horse to run on. But taking on this last run of 1,000 meters, I do believe number 10 Scottish Promise can probably be the biggest danger to the favorite Parish Opera. So, and then another horse that you can look at is number 3, which is Pure Quality. Pure Quality ran a nice race on the turf last time behind Untamed Tiger, although was then ridden by a work rider's jockey. But to keep your mind open, it is a 4-year-old, already had 22 tries, but hasn't run on the turf a lot, and has run a few races on the turf. So certainly, I think Pure Quality can also be there when the photos are taken. Then we move to race 3 out of, I just want to mention these 9 races. Normally there's only 8 races, but today at Fairvw there's 9 races. The first race is a maiden plate 1400 meters. Let's have a look at the betting. Yeah, there's a lot of open races, a lot of positive chances. Here we have race 3, number 3, Latifi's Queen, 53 to 10, 7 to 2, Princess Zena, 4 to 1, Royal Windsor, Give Me a Wee, 6 to 1, Sarajevo, 8 to 1, Samara, 12 to 1, Saucy Tempest 12 to 1, Give Up Peace 16, 22 to 1, and longer the rest. So here in race 3, my first selection is number 1, which is Royal Windsor. This horse campaigned in Kenilworth in Western Cape before. And as you can see, and this horse has competed in some strong races. Here we have 9 runners, 2 winners behind that race, but she ran badly in that race. But that was unyielding going, so maybe she didn't favor that. Then again, here behind Silver Tara, she ran a dismissal race, but 5 runners, 2 winners, 13 runners, 2 winners behind Gimme Annie. But again, Royal Windsor is improving slowly, and we have got this form behind Torero. Now, the horse that finished in front of her is now running in a previous race. So if they run well, it will certainly enhance number 1 Royal Windsor's chances in this race. But this race being a 1400 meters, whereas the previous race being a 1200. But I think number Royal Windsor will be more suited to the longer distances. Just also note, she ran here behind Duchess of State. Duchess of State came here and ran a few good races. Unfortunately, she has lost her form, but she won. I think she won 1 good race or 2 good races, and then, but also run a few nice places. So I think in this weekish field, Royal Windsor certainly in with outside with a chance. Then my outsider selection is number 2, Give Me a Wish. Also, horse getting a minus 2.5. Hasn't run a lot. Has still have to run on the turf. Yeah, and I'm not sure how it's going to go, but has been running a few places here and there behind on the poly. And again, in this weak field, can probably run a forward race. Number 2, Give Me a Wish. My other outsider selection is number 11, which is Saucy Tempest. Now, Saucy Tempest has only run on the poly, but she is a wily haul by a complete warrior me, and I'm sure it won't have a problem on the turf. This horse did run a decent first race, only 5 lengths behind. Last time out was lost, 2 lengths hung. Everything went wrong. And I think today, if the horse can jump and overcome this hanging problem, I'm thinking Saucy Tempest today at a price of 12 to 1 can certainly be a contender when the photos are taken. Then here we have number 10, Sarajevo from Mr. Van Heerden. And if I'm not mistaken, he is from the Cape, so he's bringing this horse all the way from the Cape Town for his first run. So maybe you want to include that into your bets. Then other horses you want to look at maybe is number 3, which is Latifa's Queen, which is the favorite. But I can tell you now, this form extremely weak. As you can see, there are very few runners except here behind Cara, where there was 9 runs, 2 winners, but all the other races, nothing is happening. So I will not be rushing to the bookmakers to take Latifa's Queen. But the most important, it is currently in the informed stable of Gavin Smith and Marco van Rensburg. So that is definitely a positive. And here we have Princess Zina, Great Shine on board. Yeah, it's also been running there and thereabouts. Can also be probably, does have a chance. Um, I know the mare Lara Pinta, she bred a few winners, but I think she's also getting a bit long in the teeth now. So definitely an open race, horses with chances. So let's move on to race number 4, which is the first leg of the pick 6. So let's have a look here at the betting. Here we have number 6, Wild Herb, 11 to 10, Sour Spirit 2 to 1, 11 to 2, Moodcar, Highway Star 7 to 1, 14 to 1, Black Sage Alley, and 53 to 1, the others. So here in race 4, my first selection is number 5, which is Sour Spirit. Now, Sour Spirit is a Kiev stable, great chain on board. Yeah, this horse has run a few decent races. And in this field, looks like a bit of a standout for me and can certainly be involved in a finish uh, over this 2,000 meters. Has made some decent sort. Princess of Fire has won a few. Orion Express has now won 3 in a row. And for me, that is the key in selecting this horse above the favorite, number 6, Wild Earth. Although Wild Earth did beat Sour Spinner comprehensively last time out, but that was on the poly. Now they're running in a turf, and for me, that's a totally different kettle of fish. And I think Sour Spirit might just prove to be the better one on the turf today. Then for outsider selections, I went with number 1, which is Highway Star. This is an ex-Western Cape horse that had 1 run behind Take the World last time out over the 1600 meters. Now goes over a little further and might also be involved in the finish. And then move on to race number 5. Race number 5 is a merited 72 handicap over 2,400 meters. Yeah, my experience with Fairvw on the turf, these kind of long distance races has thrown outsiders quite often, and definitely a race that you have to go long in. So here we have the betting number 4, 8, 22 to 10, Crystal Stream 5 to 1, Mirage 13 to 2. There can only be 115 to 2, 8 to 1, Bush Fever at the Opera 10 to 1, at the office 14 to 1. So we are now at the Opera and at the office. Super Noir 16 to 1, San Verde 10 to 1, 18 to 1, 22 to 1, Kenneth MacArthur, Double Canyon and 22 to 1 and 50 to 1 along with the rest. Yeah, so in this race, I'm going for a horse called number 7, Kenneth MacArthur, which is Ideal World by Annabelle May. Now, this race is currently a D Division 66. Now, Kenneth MacArthur has run in some stiffer opposition in KwaZulu-Natal here and there. Last time out ran in a 78, which was a C Division. Now down in a D Division, 7 lengths behind Colorado Springs. Slow stayed on. But I think this horse has got the ability. I know I have spoken to Gavin um, about this horse before, Gavin Monsell Sr. And he told me that they were expecting a bit from this horse, but it looks like the horse didn't train on. But I think 7 Kenneth MacArthur today is going to run a huge race here in race number 5. Then outside the selections we're going to go for is number 4, which is Crystal Stream. This horse is also knocking on the door for Jean Nel, and I'm also expecting this horse to run a huge race. Has also run, like here you can see, has run in an 87 against Africa's Gold. Was quite a useful stayer. Hawthorne 71, Arunja 70, and now finding itself here in a 66. So do expect a huge run from Crystal Stream. But the only drawback on this is that this horse is jumping from 14, and surely that. But he is a front runner, so the jockey might elect to take him to the front. He has won with this horse and run places with me before. As a matter of fact, out of 6 rides, he's in the money, 5 out of 6 rides. So definitely a horse that you cannot ignore. And my other outsider selection is number 5, Miraz. I've been watching this horse for a long time, and I was expecting this horse to also improve, and he eventually did improve last time out. Sorry, I just want to clear this phone. Was certainly improved last time out over the longer distance behind Orion Express, and I do am looking forward for an improvement on number 5, Miraz. Another horse that you can have a look at is number 8, which is Orion Express. That is the favorite. Certainly you have to include it, but the horse has now won 3 in a row and is now moving up in a little bit stronger divisions. So might not be that easy, but yeah, it's difficult to access. You know, if he's run 3, he can. If he won 3, he can win 4. But I am of the opinion that today will be a little bit harder as the horse is running against a little bit higher class of horse today. So let's move on to the next race, which is race number 6. Fillies and mares 66, 1600 meters class E, average merit rate at 62. And again here for me a very, very open race. Although they're betting 5-2 the field, Alaskan Fate 5-2, 5-1 Silver Fountain, Carmida 13-2, 9-1 Golden Years, 12-1 Run Flores Run, Waterfall 12-1, World Square 12-1, Viva Pia 14-1, La Betista 16-1, 22 Popova, Dancing Girl 28, Mayfin 55, Canadero 35-1, and I'm Global 45-1. Now, guys, yeah, from time to time you might think I'm off my rockers. I don't know what I'm doing. But as I said to you, I'm a formalizer and I use certain guidelines that I look for winners in terms of handicapping, horses dropping in class, and all of those things. Now I'm going to go here down to the bottom of this race where we have a horse called I'm Global. Now this horse is only carrying 51 kilograms. Now I'm Global. The form doesn't look too good. But if you have a look here earlier in her career, on the turf, she ran behind Princess Khaleesi, carrying 57 and got 4 at that stage and was beaten by Princess Khaleesi. Princess Khaleesi is a horse that has won quite a few. Yet she ran behind Nippy Sweetie, carrying 60 and a half, and Nippy Sweetie 61 and a half. And Nippy Sweetie has won quite a few. Yeah, I think that this horse form on the poly is not so good. But if you look at this course and distance, this horse has run 3 runs for 1 win over this course and distance. She hasn't run a lot on turf. She's only had 6 runs on the turf, winning 1 and ran 4th in the other 2. And from this lightweight, certainly it can't hurt to put this horse in your calculation and even maybe take a small each way bet. If the horse wins, you're going to thank me. You're going to have a good price. If the horse doesn't win, well, I mean, no skin off your back, and then maybe follow the horse next time. But I think I'm Global today. He's ready to run a huge race, and I've seen in the past, even in the last few weeks, months or two, that Gavin Smith winning with horses at 55-1. So certainly, this horse is not without a prayer, I would think. So that is my first selection. My outsider selections is number 12, Popova. Popova is coming from Dean Keimer and from Gravel, where this horse has also run some useful races against here and there. They're not too bad runners, but has now run 2 races on the poly and now going back on the turf and also getting the -1.5. So I think Popova also in with a small chance. Then number 13, La Batista, Luke Bester on board from draw 2, has also run some decent races lately, although a little bit last time out didn't run a little below expectations, I would think. But also a horse that I think would also run well on the um, on the turf. Of course, has had some wins and places on the turf. So also coming running from a 54 kilogram, I think in with a small chance probably. In my other selection is another horse that I would like you to look at is number 6. That is the favorite, Alaskan Fate. Has run an improved race over the 1400 meters again from the Gavin Smith and Marco van Rensburg stable. Definitely in with a chance. Number 6, Alaskan Fate. So now let's move on to race number 7, where we have a Phillies and Mare 70 handicap over 1000 meters class E. Average merit rating 65. Your betting here, number 3, Victoria Power, 22 to 10. Makara, 11 to 2. Lumine, 6 to 1. Flam, 8, 7 to 1. Beyond Temptation, 15. Angel Bouquet, 10 to 1. Ikebana, 12 to 1. 20 to 1, and better the rest. So here in this race, my first selection is number 2, Makara. This horse is coming from Gauteng. Is now running in an E65, where before she's run in 75, 80s, 90s against horses that Gaelic Prince, a multi-time winner, Sinfonica, one of the fastest horses in Gauteng, can definitely hold her own. Letitia's Angel ran, I think, a cracker last time out again, and is also a useful horse. Here we have Milk Queen. Milk Queen won a future. Gin Fish has also won a few. Sarah was the favorite the other day, but didn't run too well. And then, so I can go on, and I think the Makara today definitely in with a huge chance in this race, coming from a 135 day rest. And something else that you would like to note is that I've always said to you that sometimes horses do win a race and never win a race, and then they will win a race a year later. Now today is exactly a year ago that Makara won a race. Won his first and only race. So definitely a year later, only had 3 runs in this time, and I do think Makara can be a huge factor in race number 7. My outsider selections is race number 6. Lumiere. Lumiere is also a horse that's always there and thereabouts. Certainly a horse that you need to include into your play. And my other outsider selection is number 11, which is Angel Bouquet, a horse that couldn't get a run last time out behind Varsity Bourbon, now running down in class, and I'm sure that number 11 Angel Bouquet is going to make a presence felt in this race today. Then you can also look at number 3, Victoria Power, also a horse that has got ability and has been running well last time out behind Stage Dance in a novice. Certainly wasn't disgraced 5 lengths behind, and can also pop up in this race. Then let's move on to race number 8. There's not a lot about race number 8. Race number 8 is a conditional graduation plate. So let's have a look at the betting here. Number 1, Golden Chance, 13 to 10, 5 to 2, Stage Dance, Step Lively, 5 to 2, 8 to 1, Regimental, Evi's First, 18 to 1, Comanche, 20 to 1, 20 to 2, Gold Rock. So here, my first selection is number 2, Stage Dance. Stage Dance won a novice the other day, really won on a coconut. That was on the poly, but I'm sure she won't have a problem on the turf. And I think last week she ran behind Princess Khaleesi over the 1400 meters, first of all, which I think was a little bit too far for her. And secondly, that was a handicap. Now she's back in a graduation, and I'm sure she's going to make her presence felt. Something to note is that year she ran behind Rius Winter. And Rius Winter won on Tuesday, I think, by about 6 lengths. Also have a Gaelic Princess in her form line. Wiley Wins also won a race the other day. Mesmerizing Moon also ran a good race the other day. So all in all, I think Stage Dance do have a chance. My outsider selection, I want to point in the number 6, Evi's First, is getting 53.5 minus 2.5, only carrying 52. Last time out in that race behind Catella, the horse was impeded, lost her position, and then came back again running at 23.9 which is not bad. She beat Torero, who came out next time and won a race. And there's horses, if they win today after this Torero, that will make this form much stronger. Ran in at 22.7. So number 6, Evie's First, certainly a horse that you can include in your quartets. I'm not sure if she's got the ability to beat the top two in the betting, Golden Chance and State Dance. But yeah, then I just wanted to mention State Golden Chance and Evie's, Evie, not Evie, Step Lively also have got some chances, but I'll stick with my original selection, Stage Dance. And then we move on to the last race where let's have a look at the betting. Number 1, Lion King, 11-2. Rock the Cot, 13-2. 8-1, Matloob. 10-1, Salai, 40 Days, 10-1. 10-2, Western Aces. Little Drummer Boy, 12-1. Winter Vacation, 12-1. Bigger the Order, 12-1. And 14-1, and longer the rest. Certainly when they bet 11-2 the field, you must know the only option for you in your pick 6 is to include the field. So I'm going down here to the bottom to number 16, which is Pega de Oro. Now, this horse is now running in the E Division 61, but has run against some a little bit stronger in the opposition. And I do like the likes of the last race behind Chainsaw. It says here no extra late, but I think the 1400 meters will suit this horse better. And also the jockey, Jason Gates, I see is now a full-fledged jockey, and well, he's riding well in Gauteng. I don't know how many times he's ridden in PE, but certainly a jockey who knows his stuff and is always a trier. So my suggestion here, number 16. Then for outsider selections, I'm going to go for another lightweight, and that's number 13, Western Aces. Western Aces has also in Gauteng with the Paul Peters stable, ran a few useful races, some not so useful. Last time I ran on the poly behind Mojito Magic, but I think today over the 1400 meters drawn 6 here is going to be, might be a factor in this race. My other outsider selection is number 14, Rock the Cock. Rock the Cock also ran a used race behind Chainsaw, which is the same form as Pega de Oro. So Rock the Cock also, I think, have a chance based on his last run behind Chainsaw. Then some other notable horses, maybe we want to also include number 1, Lion King, has also been running better races and can also be involved in a finish. And then my first choice was original number 12, Matloob, and then I noticed that this horse hasn't run for over a year. And I just got a feeling that maybe he's going to need to run, but certainly has run against some decent oppositions in Gauteng. And definitely, if you want to play a larger pick 6, one horse to include. So that brings us to the end of our preview. I hope I could point you in the right direction. And as I always say, break a leg.